Hi everyone, so I haven't done a video in a long time, but I thought I needed to do this because I know loads of you are applying to the trainee probation officer scheme. So the applications opened on the 6th of April and are closing on the 16th of April. So let's go. I'm going to just share with you some of my experiences as a probation officer. It may help you with your application. But a short disclaimer, I was a probation officer. I done my training in 2013, qualified in 2014. So the route has changed slightly, but not too much. I was a probation officer employed by HMPPS right up until November 2020. I now do a little bit of freelancing for them, but this video is not sponsored. I'm not endorsed by HMPPS. I'm just doing it to help you guys and share some awareness of what probation officers do, because there's not really anything out there. So share this with anyone who's doing criminology, psychology, or who's interested in becoming a probation officer or just learning more about the role. So communicating and influencing, that is one of the behaviour profiles that you need to talk about. So I'll just give you an example from my job where I have to do that. So it can be when you're working with an offender. So it may be that they're in prison and you're trying to encourage them to go on a program, for example, let's say a domestic violence program, and they're really resistant. They don't think they're a domestic abuser. They don't think that there's anything wrong with their behaviour. They don't need to change. So from your perspective as a probation officer, you really need to work on encouraging them, influencing, motivating them, and get their buy-in. So what we mean by that is get them to see actually there is some benefit. So you need to be able to use your skills to be able to point out what's in it for them, why they need to take the course. So that's one example. Another example might be a court report or parole report. So a parole report will be done on someone who has committed, who's in there for life, or an IPP sentence. And your parole report, you will need to be able to communicate and influence to the parole board, the solicitor or their barrister, and you will need to be able to communicate your recommendation. So the example might be, I've had an offender and he has been in prison for 20 years on a life sentence. He's in category C prison. He's done all the programs. I'm then need to put forward a decision that he can go to open conditions, category D, where it's less secure. So I need to put forward an argument of why, and then put forward a plan for how we're going to do that. So I need to communicate firstly with the offender, have my interview with him, and then communicate this not only in writing in my report, but actually at an oral hearing. So it's like a mini courtroom in the prison with the parole board. So I need to be able to communicate and influence. So I need to have my argument. I need to have all my facts in order and know everything about the offender to support my decision. The thing to need to think about is, what is the message that you needed to deliver in your example? What ways did you adapt your communication style to suit the audience? So think about, is the audience the parole board, the court, your manager, an offender? Think about how you ensure that your message was actually understood by the audience. How did you ensure that you came across as credible and confident? So this is things like actually drawing on like the facts on the paperwork and just being confident in your argument, having planned for it, knowing what you're going to say. And then how did you deal with any challenges? So sometimes things don't go to plan. So how did you actually navigate yourself around that? And then your result of how did you actually get buy-in? What result did you get? So think about the situation, task, action, result, and actually how you managed to get the result. So it could be, if I'm talking about the domestic violence one from the beginning, how did I manage to get that offender from being resistant, not wanting to go on the course, to going on the course? Or how did I get the parole board to go along with my recommendation that someone should be released from closed conditions to open conditions? So focus on the result that you achieved. If this helped, then subscribe, like, share, I'm going to do a next video on the next point, so hopefully I'll be getting that out shortly so that you can actually just have them all in a row, ready to help you.